Contrary to popular belief, the keys to unlocking and progressing our muscle ups aren't in some arbitrary pull-up number. Yes, you will need a foundation of pulling strength, but most of you are already strong enough. And today, I'm gonna prove it to you. Most people fail the muscle up because we're training it out of sequence and or just don't understand the subtleties of timing and technique, which, if we're brutally honest with ourselves, isn't for lack of effort, but lack of patience. So today I'm gonna show you the exact structured progressions that I used in my own training, not only to unlock the muscle up, but also to progress to strict form, overload reps, and eventually add weight. But first things first, we have to address our pull-ups, because someone who says I can do 10 pull-ups could mean two entirely different things. Bruh. Again, not some arbitrary number, but more so quality over quantity. Number one, can you control the entire rep all the way through while maintaining tension through the entire body? And number two, can you pull the bar at least to your sternum area or close to it? If either of those two things are missing, you've got work to do. Check out this video here if you want to clean up your pull-ups. Now for the rest of you, you have the strength. It's time to master the sequence. I won't lie, you'll probably hit an unassisted muscle up after watching this video in your first session. But even if you leave here with confidence, please practice with bands first, because if you try with a band, it will save you tons of attempts and energy, because the band teaches us the coordination without friction. So without further ado, let's get coordinated and mentally prepare, because if our sequence or timing is off by even just a bit, it'll lead to tons of frustration and disappointing your mom. Don't disappoint your mother, guys. The first habit that we'll have to break is treating the muscle up like a pull-up, and there's three things that will hinder us in doing so. In the pull-up, we set up by retracting our shoulder blades or scapula and pulling ourselves into an active hang. The second is that we're pulling in more of a vertical plane of motion. And the third is that we are always trying to maintain tension and control through the entire rep, which if you're trying to mimic just one of these things in the muscle up, you'll always find yourself trapped below the bar. So now we need to differentiate. When training muscle ups, mastering the sequence, we need to forget almost everything we've learned with pull-ups. Almost. Starting off with the plane of motion, think of pulling on more of a horizontal or diagonal plane of motion as opposed to a vertical plane of motion, making a C shape or an arc so that we can actually get ourselves around the bar, because you can't go through it. Anyways, in doing so, we need to make sure that we're pulling ourselves into a hollow position to clear the bar effectively. Now, the concept of maintaining tension through your entire pull-up transfers a little bit, but there's a nuance, because we need to maintain composure. We need to be patient and relaxed. And this comes from pushing the imaginary button, which I'll explain in a moment. So think about it like this. If there's an imaginary button a few feet away from us that we're trying to push with our feet, the further it is from us, the more likely this process is going to work, because think the greater the angle, a better arc or C shape to go around the bar. But very important, we need to make sure that we're staying relaxed until we press that button. When we press that button, our entire body must generate tension and force to seal out all energy leaks. As we sharply inhale and pull ourselves over the bar, think less about pulling and more about your body working together as a unit. Because if you lose any engagement over your core, your glutes, your hip flexors, you're going to have a heck of a time getting over that bar. So a lot of times when I train muscle ups, I still have to cue myself in warm-ups and just think about this, because it's important. That's why I say it's more patience and timing than it is effort. When we press that button, oftentimes people will just sway or swing over the button, but you really have to practice stabbing that button to generate enough torque to get over the bar. Now, when swinging forward to press that button, think about poking your chest out slightly, like peekaboo. Then you trigger that button and pull yourself into hollow as fast as possible. As you do this, you'll have to activate a slight hip kip or a little bit of hip flexion to pull yourself into that hollow position. Now, obviously we want to maintain engagement through the entire body in doing this. Pointing our toes and flexing all the way through our toes, our calves, quads, glutes, core. But very importantly, as we're swinging into that, we're relaxed, we're chill, we're hanging out. As soon as we press that button is when that engagement has to take place. The button is power, the button is torque. Obviously that C shape that we mentioned before, but try to think about it more so as slamming your hands on the hood of a car. Once you've gotten comfortable and dialed most of that in, take your mind off of pulling for a second and think about pushing yourself or driving yourself away from the bar. Then just be confident and visualize yourself pushing through the dip before you even take off. I know that sounded like a lot, but to recap, relax, breathe, chill, everything's loose, everything's fine. Be patient. When you stab that button and poke your chest and pull yourself into hollow, creating tension through the entire body to seal out all energy leaks. Think about slamming your hands on the hood of a car, same idea as pushing yourself away from that bar, and be confident and visualize yourself already there. Now, I don't like to include this if I don't have to because it's just an extra step to this process, but if you're still struggling, you can incorporate knee drive. As soon as you press that button simultaneously, you're gonna think about slamming your hands on the hood of a car as you push yourself away from the bar to get that C shape to get over. As you slam your hands, you wanna think about driving your knees to your chest at the same time. Again, it's one extra step, but it is going to give us way more torque to get over that bar. Additionally, you'll benefit from training pullovers, eccentrics, band-assisted reps, jumping reps, practice transitions, straight bar dips, hollow or high pull-ups, hollow body holds, hollow lat pushdowns, and even front lever training. Hip flexor training can also help a bit too, but you don't want to rely too much on it as you clean up your reps. Now, in saying all of that, do you have to train every single one of those exercises? No, probably not. That's way too much volume. But it's kind of like a process of auditing yourself. Over time, you'll start to realize where your weaknesses are. And yes, this will build a lot of mind-muscle connection, confidence with those movement patterns, maybe even some transferable strength. But you have to audit yourself. You have to do what's right for your own routine. Yes, it'll all help. No, it's not all necessary for every single person. Last but not least is false grip. I'm sure if you've been around the channel for a while, you've heard me ramble on and on about false grip. This is the hardest part, truthfully. But the good news is, you don't have to have it completely mastered right off the bat. The idea though is that you want to progressively wrap your hand further and further over the bar, because eventually it helps us to progress to strict form in two ways. One, you're bringing your wrist more into flexion, increasing our pulling strength. And two, your hands will already be in position for that dip. All you have to do is pull yourself high enough. And I know I sound like a broken record, but please make sure you're using chalk. The difference is honestly night and day. You will progress faster than you know it. Now, once we've unlocked it, how do we progress it safely? Over time, the goal is to clean up your kips and avoid using too much momentum. You can do so with band assistance to progressively overload reps, change up the tempo, and just get more comfortable with the movement. Obviously, false grip training is going to help out huge with time as well. And finally, weighted pull-ups utilizing things like 5x5s or pyramid sets. As you get more comfortable with false grip and your muscle ups, you can begin training in front of a box to improve to strict form, and also begin adding weight. Just make sure you have a belt with a chain that's long enough to anchor that weight at your feet for best results. Look, we all have different skill levels, weaknesses, and anatomical limitations, and that's okay. We're all built different. Very different. But don't let that stop you from achieving your goals. Yes, it will make calisthenics significantly harder to navigate depending on your anatomy, depending on whatever weaknesses or skill levels that you have, injuries, plateaus. It's never a one size fits all, unfortunately. If you're longer limbed like myself and you can literally scratch your knees standing up, I know, pretty crazy. I work with athletes all over the world though on structured progressions that fit their individual anatomy and skill levels. So Whether you're looking for guidance or just a blueprint on how to get you there, reach out and let's talk and see if it's a fit for you. Other than that, guys, I truly appreciate you guys being here. I hope you gained value from this video and eventually your mother's approval too. If you want to see more videos just like this, smash that like button, consider subscribing, and maybe one day I can make my mom proud too. Until next time, guys, check out these 2 videos. One of them is going to be on the ring muscle up. The other one's going to be on, let's say false grip. It's going to be on false grip. We'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.